The Horizon series. So I mentioned this briefly in my other video, but I want to go in more depth with this. The amount of money Sony has spent convincing itself Horizon's beloved series astounds me. Gaming's rife with ignorant grifters, tourists, and edgelords. Guy hasn't even tried the first Horizon and implies Sony bought 40 million copies itself. Horizon has a superb user and critic reception. Sales after the first 2 mainline games. Horizon should be actually over 40 million. Halo 15, Uncharted 11, Gears 11. So this is obviously saying like these hollowed series, right, that everyone loves, hasn't even combined. These 3 separate series after 2 games combined have not reached the sales of the Horizon series. People have this issue where, and again, every time I break this down, people always talk about how like I'm flattening these arguments or whatever, but it's like, I'm not flattening an argument. I'm telling you where this is coming from. They don't like women. Like that's it. Because whenever the game is starring a woman let me modify that. They don't like games that women they don't like find attractive. Whenever there are games that come out, and let's say they do poorly, if it's just like a cis white dude game or even a cis dude game, they talk about it, they leave it alone. Mind's Eye comes to mind. Mind's Eye was a catastrophic failure made by a director with such esteem who's part of the fucking Rockstar, right? Leslie Benzies, right? Former president of Rockstar North, Grand Theft Auto. Well, the Rocket Boy. They did Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye didn't do so well, right? Just it's on Steam. Oh my God. Should I? No, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy Mind's Eye. I'm not going to buy Mind's Eye. I got to get over this. Mind's Eye was not well received. Like, at all. Right? People talked about it and then they ignored it. That's it. They talked about this game. Let's go on YouTube. So they're talking about the update. Mind's Eye relaunch just failed. That's 2 days ago. Update, right? So talking about the update. They're talking about more now. But you know what you're not seeing? When it comes to Mind's Eye, you're not seeing people go absolutely haywire about how shitty of a game it is. In fact, I just scrolled down a little, but now we're talking about 8 months ago. This is about fears. I don't know why it's on here. Dead on Arrival, disaster, 7 months ago. So this is 7 months ago, 7 months ago, 6 months ago. So when it came out, right? And then there's a huge gap now. Now it's like 3 weeks ago because either someone started playing like Vanilla Mace or it's because of the update, right? You'll see that here. Mind's Eye. Let's talk about, again, because I said if they find a woman attractive, it's fine. Code Violet. 2 weeks ago, it's my bit. Oh, I got 11K. Hell yeah. This is still from Kev Does It. There are no new videos. There are no new videos about Mind's Eye or about Code Violet. There are no new videos, right? You guys are seeing this 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. What the fuck? Why is he doing black? What the fuck? Okay. Oh my God. I don't have time for this. What is happening here? Of course it's Smash JT. But look, this is me again. But like 3 weeks ago, no one's talking about Mind's Eye. Sorry, no one's talking about Code Violet anymore, right? Code Violet just came out last month. Code Violet came out January 10th. Code Violet came out January 10th. It is February 7th. And people are no longer talking about the game. They're not running it into the ground, right? But then you talk about just Horizon. Are they finally admitting it? 1/3 of US video game industry workers were laid off. What the fuck does that have to do with Horizon? Horizon's Hunter Gathering. Somehow Concord's returned. They always have to make the Concord connection. Horizon Hunter's Gathering looks absolutely terrible. New Horizon game gets backlash for terrible character designs. Oh, here, I knew I'd see Vera. I knew I'd see Vera in this. I knew I'd see Vera Dark in this. New modern audience game, Horizon Hunters gathering wrecked over character designs and mid-gameplay. Modern audience Horizon Hunter gathering trailer insanely racial. Good God, I feel like I'm having a stroke every time I see these people's fucking titles. My God. Her again, 6 hours ago. So in the span of what, 2 days, she has 3 videos talking about this. Look at the intensity at which they will just straight up. Look at that. Horizon Hunters trailer is demolished for being live service modern audience. Like the fervor that they have for this game, which isn't even fucking out yet. Meanwhile, again, Code Violet, a game that was out, that came out January 10th. That was a terrible game that tricked people into basically playing it, right? That stayed on PS5. That was so bad. Team Kill Media is so bad. They're so awful. People don't even fucking talk about it anymore. These are all from weeks ago. Still blackface. I don't understand that. This is all weeks ago. Weeks ago. But then the second, oh, Horizon's back on the menu? Hell yeah, boys. Hell yeah, boys. Horizon Hunters Gathering. And then they're like, oh, the comment section got demolished. I wonder why. I wonder why the comment section for every game made from Western developers gets destroyed. I wonder why. Which actually, this isn't even, I don't think it's even made, whatever. But like, I wonder why it's getting destroyed. I wonder if I go to, I'm not gonna play it because I don't want to get my stream destroyed by Sony or IGN, whatever. Gameplay review. We want to try something different. Multiplayer game, big map with a storm streaking in the play space. Big dares are trying to fail at this point. Concord loses 100 million at Aloy. Hold my spear. Like, Horizon zero interest. We're getting Concord 4. Like, do you see what I'm talking about? Like the level of vitriol. The level of vitriol that this series gets is simply because they don't like Aloy. That's it. Like, they straight up don't like Aloy. They're like, oh, she's girl boss, she's ugly, she's this, she's that. And that's why they always use AI when it comes to her. That's their whole thing. They don't like that they don't find Aloy attractive because she's not like one of their anime girls. So that's the hate this gets. This series has sold 40 million copies. No company is going to be like, this game sucks. It's so terrible, but we gotta push an agenda, you guys. We gotta push this agenda. We gotta do it. Like, this motherfucker. Truthfully, the less insane replies I'm getting to the post are making me kind of want to try the first Horizon game. I maintain I'm right that it's left an utterly invisible cultural footprint, but hey, the game, these 30-ish fans, he says 30-ish fans, right? 30-ish fans, 40 million copies. 40 million copies. These people, like I've stated before, live in this alternate reality where if they don't find a woman attractive, then anytime they're in a game and successful, it's like, oh, no one likes these games. No one plays these games. Ghost of Yotei. You guys are probably tired of me talking about that goddamn game. Was such a success that the CFO for Sony said it contributed significantly to the physical sales of the hardware for the PS5. It was a significant contributor to driving hardware sales. And you have losers like Smash AT still going, oh, actually, no, that's fake. Actually, that's a lie. The CFO is committing security frauds. Like, here, Genki's reliable. I love Genki. I follow Genki. And normal people are like, ha ha ha, it succeeded. Look at this. No DLC plans like the first game had. There is DLC plan. It's the fucking, Brian Fleming left the company after it launched, not making a third game, decided to make a new Infamous instead, but it did better than the first one. Do you see how this has nothing here is working? Nothing here is working. Nothing here is working. Also, I'm sorry, chat, I got distracted. I did see that tweet by Alex, by the way, but him being wrong about Horizon Hunter Gallery using AI. I saw that. I commented on it. He was saying that the trailer was AI. That's like because the smear frames, and I'm like, this is the basic animation principle. It's a smear frame, and people being like, this game's gonna be a flop. This franchise has crazy support. If they're just basically doing like a Monster Hunter's fucking Wild situation, or like Monster Hunter's what's that smaller one to do, like Stories, it'll be fine. But look, you look at the comment section here, and it's people going, thank you Una Fish for subscribing. But you look at the comment section here, and it's people going, they didn't plan DLC. And I had this conversation with someone. I'm like, hey, is the game's quality determined on if it got DLC or not? Because bad games have gotten DLC. In fact, I was watching a video, don't ask me why, about Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash. That got 2 DLCs for $20 a piece. Does that mean that game's more successful than the entirety of the Horizon series? Also, yeah, I don't think Sucker Punch is Sucker Punch doing Infamous. Like, there's no news on. There's no news on that. Sucker Punch production co-founded leaves there for nearly 30 years. This is the guy they're talking about, by the way, when they're saying Brian Fleming left the company after it launched. What they neglect to tell you is that he's been at the company for 28 years. I don't know about you guys, but if I was doing the same job for 28 years, I might want to go off to greener pastures, especially if I'm leaving on a high note. Like, like this is something they fail to comprehend at any given moment because they're constantly in this alternate reality. People move on. People move on. People think if they worked on a game once and they leave, it's like, oh, because the game wasn't a success. That's the only reason people leave companies, is because the product they put out wasn't a success. And they'll hunt down writers, but oh my God, the people who worked on Concord, they're also working on this game. It's like, yeah, dude, people get hired to do jobs. There's so many contract positions in the, sometimes I wish the gaming industry was way more transparent, but even though these guys will still make up shit, but there's so many contract jobs in the gaming industry. Like, yeah, after the game is shipped, we don't need 500 people working on this anymore. Actually, we hired you guys basically seasonally and we have nothing lined up. So you got to go find work somewhere else. That's how it works. They might outsource some things to help get the product out there, right? But then once it's done, why do I still need a full team? The game's a single player game. It's out. It's like putting in your 2 weeks. Like imagine if you worked at a company and you put your 2 weeks notice in because you're working somewhere else, and then your company gets sold for like $500 billion. And people are like, oh, yeah, the company was so successful, that's why he left. And it's like, I was leaving regardless. Like, it doesn't matter. But again, this is the level of insanity we're dealing with because these motherfuckers don't like certain types of women. That's it. Yotei enjoyed riding the coattails of Tsushima's success, much like Captain Marvel made $1 billion by riding on the coattails of the MCU. This is so stupid. This is such a dumb comment. I know, chatters. I shouldn't be looking at Twitter comments and expecting any sort of intellectual stimulation, but you cannot read this. You cannot read this and weep for the state of online discourse. Terrence Crawford left boxing. Yeah, because boxing's terrible. That's why Terrence Crawford left. He didn't retire on top or anything. He just left. But like, Yotei enjoyed riding the coattails of Tsushima's success. Much like Captain Marvel made $1 billion riding the coattails of MCU, people weren't falling for it. The Marvels, it was a massive failure. Yotei would not outsell Tsushima overall. Ghost franchise is dead. Like I don't understand. I mean, I mean, this first sentence is saying a sequel was riding off of the success of the previous. Yeah. The previous game from gotta go, have a good night, dude. Don't just go to promote your brain. Thank you. They already have. They've already melted my brain. The top commenter says it enough. I'm saying for the next Ghost House, there probably won't be one, just how there won't be one for The Last of Us, Death by Woke. Oh my God. Ghost of Yotei sold more in the same time period than Tsushima. Yes. See, thing is, but these Twitter people are in my comment sections too. So like, I see this regardless. But this is just like the state that we are in, where someone's saying a successful property begat more hype for its upcoming sequel. Is you could say that about anything. Much like, and to say that Captain Marvel was riding the coattails of the MCU, it cannot ride the coattails of that. Doesn't make any sense. So what was Thor: The Dark World not riding on the coattails of the first Thor movie? Like, what are we talking about? People were interested in the universe, but that doesn't mean one film was going to guarantee the success of another. The reason why The Marvels was a failure is because it came out during COVID. People weren't going to theaters for like that. And yes, I did think the marketing was a little bit weird for that movie, but it's not like it was a failure because everyone was not in COVID and finances were fine and it just wasn't good. In fact, this movie got a lot of hate before it even came out because people hated Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel because Brie Larson was like, people treat her kind of shitty because she's a woman. They're like, how dare you? But like, it's just like, these people live, like I said in my other video, they live in such a fantasy world. Silent Hill 2 so less than Silent Hill 1, but yes, and I've always said this. And I will stand by this. The quality of a game or even a media is not solely determined by its box office or its sales. You have played video games. That were absolutely a flop. You have played video games that were shovelware. You've played video games that were maybe 6 out of 10s, and you enjoyed them. You have games in your history. If you played video games for longer than a year, you have games in your history that if you looked up its sales, you'd be like, it only made this much money. It only sold this many copies. Furiosa, the Furiosa movie, right? It wasn't financially successful. It wasn't. It was not. But guess what? It was a fantastic film. It was a great film. This metric that, money determines how good it is. No, money determines interest, not quality. Not really. There are movies and games that have made so much money. I'm like, why do people play this? Why are people watching this? Right? But this isn't the end all be all. But again, specifically with Yotei, they're making shit up. Like, none of this is real. Ghost of Tsushima was a completely unknown title when it launched. It grew the most traction as a sleeper hit. Yotei will fall off the face of the earth from here. Like, this is just cope. For some reason. Smart use of words, but Yotei failed. It will never attain its sales figures with its predecessor. They know it full well. Like, this is sold better than the previous title, but less than overall and less than expected. They're making up this shit. They don't know the expectations. Yes, Transformers 1, right? Didn't do well financially. That means it's shit. Right? That means it's fucking terrible. Like, this is some of the most insane cope I have ever seen. They are making shit up. And one of the best examples, which again, I did put in my video, you guys can watch it because you guys love my content, but I will talk about it here too. One of the biggest copes I have seen, of course, comes from the guy who we just saw with the thumbnail blackface, of blackface the quartering, which I'm not going to even dissect that. But Smash JT, it is some of the most insane cope I have ever seen. Sony CFO Lin Tao delicately danced through words in an attempt to convince shareholders that they have a win on their hands. Ghost of Yotei, a tentpole title we released in October, exceeded the sales of the previous title in the same period of time and significantly contributed to the financial results of the quarter. But hold on there just a second. Still no actual sales number, and they continue to refuse to use anything tangible. Given how narrowly her statement is framed, there's no way this came anywhere close to meeting internal expectations at Sony Interactive Entertainment. It reeks of positioning, not transparency. Okay, so just from this alone, you guys should know he's an idiot, right? Like I'm gonna keep explaining it, but this should tell you just how stupid this man is. He says right here, given how narrowly her statement is framed, what is narrow about someone saying the game by name, calling it a tentpole title, exceeded the sales of the previous title? What was the previous title to Ghost of Yotei? In the same period of time. What do you think she means by same period of time? Why does this read like ChatGPT? Because he definitely used ChatGPT for this. But what do you take away from if I said Ghost of Yotei exceeded the sales of the previous game within the same time period? What does that tell you? I'm telling you in no uncertain terms that in the same time period, meaning they both had X amount of days on the market, one of them outsold the other. How is this a narrow statement? How is this not meeting internal expectations of Sony? You don't have a job. You do YouTube. You don't work for Sony. How do you know what the internal expectations were for this game? And then it was, just imagine how much more would have sold if they had stuck with Jin and delivered a direct sequel to Ghost of Tsushima instead of pivoting to Ghost of Yotei. So this right here tells me he didn't play the game. He says he played it. I saw the interview he did with Colin Moriarty. You guys know I did because I have a whole video on it. And even Colin's like, what are you talking about? If you play the DLC, then the story's done. There's no story left for him. Him in the mainland would have been awesome. No, it wouldn't have been. Because that's not his story. What connection does he have to the mainland? The entire thing of Ghost of Tsushima was centered around his island being attacked by Mongols and rescuing his people. What else? The Mongols didn't make it to mainland Japan. Like, that was the whole point. And he gives away the game because imagine if they would have stuck with a guy. How much better? Because you guys obviously know when games keep the same leads, they always have good successes afterwards. There's never been a time where a character was in the game one and then in the second game and then it failed. That's never happened. There's also never been a case, famously, where a game in its second iteration introduced a brand new character who was the main character for the entirety of the game. That franchise failed. There's definitely never been a game series. There's never been a game series There's never been a game series. There's never been a game series that had, you know, a game where, you know, I don't know. I don't think there's ever been. I don't think there's ever been a game. I don't think there's ever been a game where a character was introduced and took over the spot of the main character, and it did well. I don't think that actually happened. I don't think that ever happened at all. Actually, I don't think it's happened. No, you guys, Resident Evil has always had the same protagonist. What are you talking about? No, you're making shit up. Resident Evil has never changed protagonists. It's just been one person. It's just been one guy. Right? That's it. All I know is when I say Resident Evil, was just these people. That's it. It's just Chris Redfield. This person's not real. Jill Valentine's not real. She's not a real person. It's just Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield has been the lead in every Resident Evil game. Because changing characters in different titles has never worked out. Resident Evil have different characters you play as. You guys are making shit up. Who is Leon? It's just Chris Redfield. See, he was in the first game. So that means in the second game, it would just be, what? Huh? Wait a minute. Wait. No. Wait. But this has got to be AI, right? When does this come out? 1998? No, this is a fan game, right? This is one of, because you know how like you go to like itch.io and they have like the games that look like Resident Evil, like Daymare 1998, which is a real game, by the way. This is what this is, right? Because they said that you can't, but no, because he said, but Smash JT said, the Ghost of Yotei would have been better if it was still Jin, right? Because they would have sold way more. This is implying that if you change characters from one game to another, it's not going to sell as well. So it can't be that he's an idiot and has no idea what he's talking about. He has so many subscribers though, and everyone tells me on the internet that the more followers and subscribers you have, the better your argument is, and you're always right. Which is why anytime I talk about someone with more subscribers than me, I'm just jealous. So clearly I must be wrong somewhere. It's also hard to ignore that the head of Sucker Punch Productions conveniently departed recently. Oh my God. Yeah. He's right. It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. They just want to play as their big, strong male fantasy characters. They do. That's also true. Not exaggeration. Listen, man. I think you guys know my beliefs on certain things. So when I say this, know that I mean this in the least offensive way possible. But these guys are so gay. And they're gay in a way that is misogynistically gay. Where like, if they aren't able to play as men at every waking moment, they will riot, asterisk, unless that there's a woman that they find attractive. That's it. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me. Mind you, you want to hear something funny? When I was working on this video, I was talking about him. You know what I did? I said, I'm gonna just go to his website. I'm gonna just go to his page. When he was talking about Yotei, I was, I'm gonna go to his page for this right here. I literally see how it says 1 hour ago. I just typed in. I didn't even type in Ghost of Yotei. I just typed in Smash JT and went to his page, and this was the first. Like literally, this was the first thing. This was the first thing that I saw. Just calling it a flop. Sony pushes ambiguous trust us bro success narrative. They concoct these insane stories, right? It's just like, and it's like, why is there such an invested interest in doing this? And then I realized, besides the obvious to make money part, it's because we have no media literacy anymore. We have, like, people can just say shit and people will go like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like, okay, that's true. This guy's saying they decided to make a new Infamous. Is that true? No. There is no evidence corroborating that they were going to make a new Infamous, because of course there's not. Because if that was true, it would have been all over. Like, not saying I'm tapped into everything, but I would have heard about a franchise that I love coming back. Like, they don't even keep track of this shit. And it's not even like people are talking about it on YouTube. Like, there's a new Infamous game. 1 year ago, someone said we need a new Infamous game, but they're not talking about a new rumor. 3 years ago, a retrospective, the highest orbital drop in Infamous Second Son. Like, no one's this. You would have heard about that. It's hard to keep any secret in the gaming world now because there's just leaks abundantly, right? But again, you can just make up shit. Most of these comments are just insane cope. Yeah, how come I don't see anyone talking about it? People have this insane idea too about the popularity of something being dependent on its cultural relevancy. And you know what I say to that every single time? When was the last time people came up to you and started quoting Avatar lines? When was the last time people were walking up to you and quoting lines from Avatar? Not The Last Airbender, Avatar, the highest selling film of all time. The #1 film of all time, Avatar. How often were people talking about that movie after like a year? Cultural relevancy is not an indication of quality. Like, it's not. You'd be like, this game has no cultural impact. How many games do? Really think about it. How many games have cultural impact? No one quotes Naruto. That's false. That's false. But like, literally, how many games do you know have such a cultural impact? What do we even mean by cultural impact? Like, no one's talking about it? Is no one in your space talking about it? Because that doesn't mean it's not has cultural impact. That means you're in a bubble that would not be talking about it. Like, there are so many games that people have loved, that are beloved, that no one talks about. No one does. Perfect example. How many people are talking about Okami? Okami was a fantastic game. It was a great game. How many people are talking about Okami? How many people are talking about Star Fox? How many people are talking about Shenmue? When's the last time? How many retrospective videos you remember? Like, what are we qualifying as culturally relevant? Culture changes on a daily basis. Yeah, One Piece is still relevant because it's still going on. But like, people aren't talking about a lot of things. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, hell, we were just talking about earlier how there's certain content creators that don't want to talk about ICE. That doesn't mean ICE isn't happening. That doesn't mean people aren't being taken from their families. This notion that this thing has no cultural relevancy. What are you talking about? Twitch game categories are a great example. There's so many games that not to viewership have but have a massive impact offline. Exactly. People get so caught up in these categories, and I'm like, what are you ultimately trying to get at? Like, when I was playing Symphony of the Night, when I joined Stream, for example, I looked for relevant gameplay. Gave up looking for a Symphony of the Night. Exactly. There are games that are foundational. And people don't talk about it the way they talk about. Okay, recent example. Who's talking about Halo? Has there been large buzz about Halo lately? Has there been a huge zeitgeist over Halo? No. There hasn't been, unless you are in specifically Halo circles. People aren't talking about Halo. Halo was a huge cultural movement in gaming space in like the early to mid 2000s, but no one's fucking talking about it now. That doesn't mean Halo sucks. I mean, depending on who you ask, right? Destiny, same thing. Like, there were games that came out last year that people are not talking about. People aren't even talking about Night Rain. And that game is popular. It's happening right now.